Even though I killed the ghost, there's still room to debate. And every sport is on the clock, who being labeled the grade. If you hungry for the smoke, then come and get you a plate. We just evaluate the game and we don't deal with the hate. Come tune into the show, cause we about to get into it.
Every sport has a GOAT.
But now it's time to prove it. Barbershop vibe saying what other shows couldn't. With a buyer Coach Scott, yeah, it's gonna be a good one. This ain't for the faint of heart. Tiger, Jordan, Messi or Babe Ruth, Brady, Serena, and Ali catch phase 2. Get your facts ready and no Wikipedia, cause ain't no off season here on Go Debate Media. Go Debate Media, let's go.
Welcome back to Go Debate Media. I'm your host, by Israel, and to my right we got Coach J.O., and to my left we got Coach Scott. Whew, we have a good show lined up for you today, but before we get into that, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to get this channel to 10,000 subs. And listen, just because you don't always agree with what we say, or we don't always agree with what you might say, that don't mean you can't support the channel by hitting the like button. But anyway, let's jump into this. And Coach Scott, I am definitely coming to you first. Nick, who's been wrong from the beginning, gonna be wrong all the way to the end. Nick Wrong, like most people know him as Nick Wright, finally just admitted that this whole GOAT debate thing that I myself, Coach J.O., have said already that it's really not a debate. But, you know, some people like to believe it is. And there are some people who like to continue to push it and support it like Nick Wright. But he has said that, you know, it's within his best interest for him. It benefits him to continue to push the debate as long as he's in media. It benefits him to do so.
Now you're saying the Lakers are going to win the title.
Because they are. Yeah.
All right. So wouldn't the Warriors winning the title and Steph getting his 5th ring before LeBron be the actual worst thing that's ever happened to you in your career?
Here's what you don't understand about media. You want to know what's actually bad for my career? LeBron putting the GOAT debate to rest. It is in my interest for that to be a hotly contested debate as long as I'm doing media. It's not in my interest for everyone to come around and be like, hey, Nick was right. What's next?
So this is a lose-lose for you.
No,
if LeBron wins,
no, because if LeBron
the GOAT,
but
if
I'm
Curry
telling you
wins,
right now, people won't call him the GOAT. If LeBron wins,
want a ring this year?
In year 20, people will say they'll find a way. People have just decided that it's not available to him after the Mavs series in 2011.
Now, Coach Scott, you just heard it with your own ears. Now, I get what Nick Wright's saying, but at the same time, I think this thing is twofold. And one of those folds is he's pushing a false narrative to benefit himself. Am I wrong by this?
I wouldn't say a false narrative, but I think he's 100% right. It benefits him from the profession he sits at. For media not to have something to talk about that is as hot as LeBron James and Michael Jordan, it would be a disaster for him. Obviously, Coach J always says he works with Clutch Sports. It would be damning, extremely damning to him for people to seemingly put to bed the GOAT debate. But at the end of the day, this is a conversation that ultimately will go nowhere because you have two different extremes. You got two totally different sets of fans that are literally looking at each other from polar opposites. You're talking about two totally different eras of basketball. You're talking about championships over all the stats. You're talking about a point guard versus a shooting guard versus a small power forward. So the GOAT debate itself will never go anywhere. But I think that in the argument itself, I mean, it's a viable argument. My stance on the argument won't change based on the fact that I've already said I feel like Michael Jordan is 1A and LeBron James is 1B.
Well, you heard it, Coach J.O. So I'm going to bring the same question over to you. Is Nick Wright simply just pushing? You heard Coach Scott's response. Is Nick Wright simply just pushing a narrative, a false narrative, because it benefits him? And Coach Scott's response was, hey, well, you know, if he's a journalist, he's an analyst. I mean, he's on TV. He talks about this. Of course, it's going to benefit him. But you know what? There are some other channels out there, you know, even some bigger, some smaller channels. They love to say, you guys can talk about nothing but LeBron James. But when we say, well, I mean, he is the topic at the point, and that's what we're talking about. For us, that doesn't work. But when it comes down to Nick Wright, it's A-okay. But for us, it's more so we're trying to put out more factual information versus narratives that are being created off of just bogusness. What do you say?
Nick understands what he's doing, right? And he explained it. This is good for my career. The problem here lies is the narrative, right? Stephen A. Smith even talks about how LeBron James and Clutch Sports love to control the narrative, all right? Now, when you're dealing with history, the more time that goes by, whoever controls the narrative controls the minds of the people. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Okay?
True.
Nick Wrong is on television. He's on a national platform, right? He's on Fox Sports. And every day he gets to repeat this over and over and over and over and over and over again, regardless of how much evidence exists. Eventually, those LeBron is the GOAT, LeBron is the GOAT, LeBron is the GOAT will sink into the minds of the people, regardless of how foolish the debate is. He even said it. He knows that in the minds of the people, LeBron can never be the GOAT because they will come up with some reason why Michael Jordan is that. But to make it a debate, he has to constantly say it over and over and over and over again. LeBron is the GOAT. LeBron is the GOAT. LeBron is the GOAT. LeBron is the GOAT. He just keeps saying it. All right? Because when did this start? Like, when did it start? When did LeBron James is the GOAT? Like, when did it start? When is the genesis of this? That's what I want to know.
If I could, I think the genesis of the conversation was when LeBron James was 15 years old. Do you understand that this young man was compared to Michael Jordan at 15 years old? He was dubbed the chosen one from 15 years old. Before there was any narrative that could be painted, before there was any narrative that could be created, he was dubbed the chosen one. So when we talk about when was this narrative created, it was created then. And I personally say there's been no player in the NBA that from day 1 to day 20 years later, in whatever many days later, has had that has had to stand up to the amount of scrutiny and actually surpass 99% of people's overall critique of his game throughout a 21-year career.
But Coach Scott, was Grant Hill dubbed the next Jordan or Penny Hardaway?
No.
No, they were not.
No.
Oh my God, J.R. Ryder, was it J.R. or was it Mitch? J.R. Ryder? Yeah, there were several. The next Michael Jordans that came up. Yes, they were. And I really hold on. The point I'm making is this. I will say, out of all of them, LeBron James has gone the furthest, has accomplished the most, and has had the biggest effect out of all of them. But with that being said, when we stop and look at this thing realistically, right? Let's just be honest. Coach J.O., you have a 20-year career. Matter of fact, I said this before. I asked this question before. Let's take this to business. And it makes sense, right? If you have a businessman A, he's up. You see that right there? You see that? Because he knows what I'm about to ask because it makes sense. For whatever reason, it just doesn't make sense in basketball, right? Businessman A, all right? In 10 years, he made $100 million. Businessman B, in 20 years, he makes $40 million. Who's the better businessman? Coach J.O. Businessman A, who made $100 million, or businessman B, who took him 20 years to make $40 million?
Businessman A.
So with that being said, Coach Scott, the point that's being made here is you have a Michael Jordan. Yes, he played 15 years, including the Wizard years, but you have a Michael Jordan who accomplished an entire Hall of Fame career, right? Because there's a narrative, and I actually can see where people are coming from with this. They say, well, LeBron James has like 3 or 4 different Hall of Fame careers. When he was here, there's a Hall of Fame career. And it was in Miami, and in Cleveland, and in LA. Okay, cool. All right, beautiful. But that took 20 years to do. You have a man who played 13 years. And in between the 13 years, the 20 years still has not caught up. There's an entire Hall of Fame career in between this 13-year period versus the 4 Hall of Fames down here. If you're saying LeBron James has 4 Hall of Fame careers, or is it 3? It's 3 or 4, they saying. If you're saying he has 3 to 4 Hall of Fame careers, but yet out of all 3 or 4 Hall of Fame careers, Coach J.O., it still hasn't caught the one that Michael had, then Nick Wright knows what's going on. He's pushing the narrative. It's not real. This is not a real debate. And it's not a slight to LeBron James to say, hey, listen, man, we said it. Allen Iverson said it on the last show we produced. You're on the Mount Rushmore.
LeBron is on Mount Rushmore.
Facts.
That's enough.
That's
you know what I mean.
Like by saying that Mike is better than him.
Yeah, it's not no disrespect because you're better than who I am and was as a basketball player.
For most people, you're on a Mount Rushmore. There's some who say no, and I understand why they say no. But Coach Scott, come on now. You played 20 years. And we gotta stop. We gotta stop. And I'm about to be quiet right now. We have to stop with awarding or rewarding or congratulating the loser. That's not why we play sports. I don't care because you went to 10 finals. How many did you win? 4? And I don't want to hear about the level of competition because what we seem to leave out a lot of times is this. Yeah, he played against 3 Hall of Famers in this finals. He played against 4 Hall of Famers. But we forget, he had 3 Hall of Famers. He had maybe 4 Hall of Famers. You had the team as well. It's a narrative, and it's a narrative that Nick Wright is pushing, Coach Scott, and he just admitted that he's pushing it, and he knows that LeBron will never really truly be considered the GOAT. But by all means, go ahead. You can rebuttal.
Again, I think that the way that you're looking at it and the way that you took that statement, I think that you can see it in that light, but I received that in a totally different light. I received it in the fact that you have individuals like a Coach J.O. that would never, no matter what they did from this point forward, they would never even put LeBron James on their Mount Rushmore because they're 7 or 8 best player in their book. You have people that literally will say anything to not make it be LeBron James. So in that respect, I think that that's why Nick Wright made the statement or the comment that he made, not based on anything of, well, I think it's a totally farce. I think it's a farce of comparing a LeBron James to a Michael Jordan or 2 phenomenal players that are on the Mount Rushmore of basketball together. I think that that's not what he was saying. Okay.
Well, Coach J.O., go ahead. I'll let you chime in. Go ahead.
This is the thing, right? And I want you to be totally objective right here, Coach Scott. And I want you to add into it, Mike. Think about this. And this is what I mean when I say social engineering and controlling the narrative. Out of every player in NBA history, the narrative that I'm about to lay out here, the no help narrative. Don't have a coach. All right. I don't have enough help. Okay. I didn't play with this person. I didn't play with that person. Or I get to trade everybody on my team. Or this player sucked. That coach sucked. Okay. No matter what it is, even what you spewed out earlier, you stated, who has faced most scrutiny from year 15? Who got compared to this? Who got compared to that? As if LeBron James is the only player in NBA history that faced scrutiny. As if LeBron James is the only player in NBA history that got compared to Michael Jordan. No. This is, you all have created a narrative as if those are absolutes and period. It can't be debated. It's just a fact that nobody faced more scrutiny than LeBron James. Nobody got compared to Michael Jordan coming into the league. Nobody had any help. He had terrible coaches. All of that got to be attached to LeBron James' career when telling the story of LeBron James. Okay? That's a part of the social engineering and the narrative that I'm talking about. to prop him up to be the GOAT. Because without all of that, if you just focus on his career and actually what happened, again, there's no legs to stand on.
Coach.
Absolutely none. It's a phony GOAT debate.
Phony GOAT debate. Great. Okay. Okay, great. You name another player that was literally put in the position at 15 years old to say, if you don't eclipse, if you don't meet or beat Michael Jeffrey Jordan's acclaim, you know your career is a failure. At 15 years old?
I don't recall.
Being compared to Michael Jordan at 15?
I don't recall that.
Are you saying there's any player that was like that? Abaya said that there were other players compared to Mike. You mean Travis Minor? You mean the players that were compared to him when Michael Jordan walked away from the game for 2 years? These are media ploys to say who's going to be the next Michael Jordan. But when I'm talking about in comparison to, there's only been one. It wasn't even Kobe. Later on, as Kobe started winning, it was Kobe. But from day one, it's only been one, and that's LeBron James. Let's be fair.
You're saying
that's not a narrative.
There has never been a narrative, or the NBA's never pushed this particular player is the next Michael Jordan. That only happened with LeBron from the day one they came to the NBA. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is there's no player in the NBA, active or non-active, that has been compared to Michael Jordan at 15 years old, period.
So that's not what I asked you, because all the players who were compared when they weren't coming straight from high school or being compared at 15. I'm talking about my point is this. My point is this, is there have been other players that they were saying this is the next Michael Jordan. And the reason when they started this, just think about this. Remember when Michael Jordan retired the first time and the ratings fell through the floor? Right?
Absolutely.
The NBA smart.
I was in agreement.
We know we need to get another, star like that, so we can never let this happen again. So we got to always have somebody who's going to keep those ratings up. And they start comparing the next star player to the next Michael Jordan. Yes, they had that before LeBron James. And then, yes, LeBron James got tagged with it as well, that he's going to be the next savior or something of that nature. And I agree with no matter 15 or 18 or 21, he surpassed them all. I'm not saying he didn't. Here's the point. Before we go to the next subject, I want to just point this out. Now, here's when Coach J.O. says something about social engineering, and then I agree with him. And here's one of the reasons why I agree with when he says it. Let's use Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. LeBron James. How many championships does Kareem have? 6. MVPs? It's like 6 or something like that, right? 6.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Bron got 4 championships, 4 MVPs. Scoring titles, like 2. Bron got 1. Rebounding title, he got 1. Bron got none. Block titles, he got like 4. And including with that, he was, before LeBron passed him, the all-time leading scorer, right? So with all of these accomplishments, why, when he had all of these accomplishments and he was at the top of the mountain, was not the whole world screaming his praise as the GOAT? Because that's not the only thing the GOAT's based on. But now when LeBron has accomplished those things, and now he actually haven't accomplished those things, now that he has a scoring title and he's like, oh, up in top 10s and this and top 10s and that, all of a sudden he's supposed to be the GOAT. And now, but what was the difference between Kareem? Why wasn't Kareem considered the GOAT? But now when LeBron gets here, all of a sudden he's considered the GOAT. Why? It's just the media. I'm about to land my plane. The media is pushing that. The media is pushing it because they didn't push the same thing for Kareem. Not only that, I was saying earlier, that entire Hall of Fame career between Mike and LeBron, 13. This is 13 years versus 20 years and soon to be 21 years. Jordan, 2 more rings than LeBron. He has 2 more finals, has 1 extra MVP, a defensive player of the year, even if you want to lie on it and try and scratch it out, an extra defensive player of the year, 9 more scoring titles, 3 more steal titles, and 3 more all defensive teams than LeBron. He did that in 13 years. 13 years versus 20 years. Now, a little bit more, and I'm about to land my plane. Coach Scott, who was, I almost said it. Who was LeBron James' best teammate? His number one guy. Best one. Most talented teammate.
I mean, that's hard. I mean, most talented, most important. I mean, what in what phase of the game are you talking about?
Watch this. Coach J.O., who was Michael Jordan's best teammate, most talented teammate?
Scottie Pippen.
It was only one. It was only one. But for you, it was so many. It's like, well, shit, I don't know.
It's not that
he got you, coach. He got you, coach.
Hey, here's where you pull the rug from people. There's no gotcha moment. I like clarity. I like to understand what someone's saying to me. Unlike, some other people. All right. They kind of, they move towards it. But
all right, let me just put this out there. Let me just finish my point. Let me just finish the point. I'm gonna give it to you. Right now. I'm just gonna go through playoff stats, right? We're looking at Dwayne Wade, who was his top, one of his top, before he got with AD or whatnot. But Dwayne Wade, and we compare him to Scottie Pippen, he averaged more points. Pippen did have more assists and rebounds, but Dwayne Wade is over Scottie Pippen in everything else in the category. Scottie Pippen did not have the numbers Dwayne Wade had. Jordan didn't play with AD. He didn't play with a Kyrie. He didn't play with, matter of fact, I have a list right here. A Dwayne Wade, a Kyrie Irving, a Anthony Davis, a Chris Bosh, a Kevin Love, even a Ray Allen. You know what I mean? And that's just a few. I have a whole list right here. I just stopped at number 6. I stopped. Awesome. Now, I say that to say this. This is what Coach J.O. means by social engineering. LeBron never had any help. It's amazing. But go ahead, Coach J.O.
Here's what I feel like we're creating as it pertains to a social engineering for Mike, because the narrative can't be player for player. It's got to be who had what, and we know we're not comparing apples to apples. We know we're not comparing time periods of the game to another time period of the game.
You want to compare team for team? You want to compare 2013 Heat to the 96 Bulls?
Absolutely. In comparison to the era, yes, we can do that all day. But in comparison to the era of basketball, Mike's teams were 1,000 times better than the teams they played.
Actually, you know they were underdogs in the finals?
Oh, all right.
I'm just asking you a question. Did you know they were the underdogs? Because y'all sleep on that Utah Jazz team who swept through teams like Portland and Lakers. And these are some good Laker teams and some good Portland teams and some good Spurs teams. And when they got to the Bulls were actually not picked to win those games. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. Let's move forward here. All right. Now,
I mean, the point you're making, you're saying some people in Vegas didn't favor them. Probably one house out of any gambling house in the world probably didn't choose them, and that's what we're going off of. The world knew the Bulls were going to beat Utah Jazz. Like, the world knew that. Like, it wasn't a thing where they were the underdogs. In who living room? In who house were they the underdogs in?
Mine.
Was it Vegas?
In mine. No, in mine, because I was worried about Utah. Coach J, I don't know if you watched the series, but I was. No. I knew Utah wasn't a pushover. I was worried about Utah.
Coach J, you were worried about Utah too, right?
No. My point is the '98 Bulls weren't a good team. They was not a good team. They weren't. They weren't a good team. It just wasn't.
They were not as good as the past teams. Not like you're making them out to be.
They weren't close.
They were an upgraded team. Instead of Horace Grant, you had Dennis Rodman.
98,
you had Scottie Pippen, who was injured from almost half the season. You had Dennis Rodman, who was AWOL. You had the Bulls, who were the oldest team in the entire NBA. They were the oldest team, and they were beat up. And you had Jordan with some bad knees. Jordan was not as quick. He was not as fast. He did not jump as high. He was just still fundamentally sound. The 98 Bulls
we gotta make him
but that's the truth.
Old man. We got to make him an old man to be what he. Come on.
Okay. Man. All right. So
let's do it. He painted the picture. Like, he painted the picture.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
All right. Okay. All right.
So listen. All right.
In my household, the Chicago Bulls were not the underdog. I knew this. Like, this was a fact in my block. It was a fact that the Bulls were going to win.
Yeah, but we don't trust your household NBA analysts.
Hey, that's fine. So
before we go, Now, I want to get a quick question in, and before I get that question in, I'm going to play this clip right here.
A working relationship? Is he going to call you dad at practice in the locker room?
No, we already laid that. No, he can't. We already laid that down. He cannot call me dad in the workplace. All right. Once we leave out of the private facility and the gates close, I can be dad again. In the car, we ride together. At home, I can be dad. No, he got to call me like 2-3 or Brian. Okay. Or, GOAT if he wants to. That's up to him. I mean, it's up to him.
Coach J.O., now, a lot of players they don't respect LeBron James the same way that, they would respect the Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. Now, we know what the media say and what they're pushing in the narratives, but when you talk to the players, because the show we produced yesterday, it was who? Allen Iverson, it was Darius Miles, and it was Quentin Richardson. And they all agreed, when you talk to the players, it's different.
Everybody got their stats and everything, right? But we all know, as real hoopers that lined it up at the highest level when we went against them people, we know the difference of how people were revered and talked about and responded to.
It's different. They're not pushing this narrative. Now, we know we got the younger players maybe, but when you talk to the players who were there, it's different. Do you remember when Isaiah Thomas, because he's a supporter of LeBron James too, but when LeBron first sat on that podcast and said it was 2016, that's when I became the greatest, and he was sitting there like, no, LeBron, don't say that. Like, now you just going too far. Like, let us say you the greatest. Like, and it's things like this that get people to like, because as much as you want to say, it's hard. I would never say he didn't say it, but you'll be hard pressed to find Michael Jordan running around. I'm the GOAT. On YouTube Shorts, I'm the GOAT. Don't you know I'm the GOAT? Or he can call me dad, or he can call me GOAT. It's just like, it's not likable. And again, just being honest, like I said on the last show, there's people who don't like LeBron, and there's people who don't respect LeBron. I'm not one of the ones who don't like him, but I don't respect how he moves and the things he says and the antics and the little things that he does. I mean, am I wrong to look at it the way I'm looking at it, Coach J.O.?
No, you're not wrong, right? And think about it. LeBron James has been in this league a long time. A lot of these guys, well, it's probably some of them that wasn't even born. You know what I'm saying? In 2003. Some of them that probably wasn't even born, okay? So the way that some of these guys view LeBron is just different, right? It's just different. So I'm going to make these couple of points. True enough, was LeBron James being jovial when he said, call me the GOAT? Like, he was laughing, all right? But at the end of the day, you said it, right? This goes back to the social engineering and the genesis of this. I remember LeBron James, I think he said this during the pandemic. He said, in 2016, when I came back from a 3-1 lead, that's what he said, that's when I became the GOAT. So there is a genesis to this, Coach Scott. Even Nick Wright says LeBron James became the GOAT in 2016 when he, not the Cavs, when he came back from a 3-1 lead. Now, LeBron James said, hey, son, don't call me dad. You can call me the GOAT. Ha, 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 ha. Right? Kevin Garnett recently just said, these cats, the day he was talking to Anthony Edwards, said they would not be able to last in our locker room because we had a grown man's locker room. Okay? Now, am I saying LeBron James isn't a grown man? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is this, right? The jovial, the playing, the jokes, and all of this type of thing, that goes back to the respect factor that a lot of cats in his contemporaries or people that older him don't view LeBron that way. They don't respect him because they look at him sometimes as kid-like. It's almost like kid-like. They don't like it. And they don't look at him as the adult in the room. And it throws people off. They just do.
That's facts. You made a point on yesterday's show when you said about, the top 75 in Cleveland. One, they're in Cleveland, Ohio, home state. They're there, and then Jordan walks in and everybody's in awe. It's like he demands that reverence, that respect. Do you know who I am? I'm Mike. you know, and you can hear it from the crowd. You know, everybody gives him that. Coach Scott, in all honesty, what are your thoughts about that? Because I'll be honest with you, even if it was Michael Jordan, let's say it was Magic Johnson or Kareem, if they're running around saying, I'm the GOAT, I'm the GOAT, I'm the GOAT, jokingly, whatever, it's not a good look. It's just not a good look. And even, you know, Isaiah back the same thing. He's like, LeBron's not a good look. But it's not. What's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are, you know, I first kind of look at, you know, Coach J.O., he teeters a little bit. And it baffles me based on the fact that he said that the baddest guy in the game at one point, the baddest, most rebellious player the NBA had in the game, and Allen Iverson, he says that he's making statements like LeBron James was better than him based off of backlash, hearsay, innuendo. He wants to protect his image and his career when clearly Allen Iverson is probably one of the most, at the time, definitely while he was playing, one of the most bad boyish image players that the NBA wanted to paint. They tried to move the game away from individuals like Allen Iverson. So which one is it? Are we able to listen to athletes and take them seriously, or is it not where we can listen to athletes and take them seriously for what they say? Because if they're pushing the narrative of social engineering, I think that that's one thing, and I think that that's putrid. Now, as it pertains to what LeBron James said, it was a little bit much. It was overt. But I think he was trying to be jovial. I think he was trying to, you know, kind of crack too many jokes within a serious situation. But does that warrant individuals not respecting his play? Do I respect LeBron James as an individual? I don't know him as an individual. I give anyone common and general respect. But as it pertains to the game of basketball, yes. But as it pertains to his personal life, him, Michael, or anyone else, I don't know what their personal life holds. I've heard things, but based off of that, I would have to deal with them as it pertains to them in specific with me.
But Coach Scott, it seemed like you just superimposed something. Like, we didn't say it affect his play. We're saying we're looking at why some people actually don't like him as a, you know, because y'all like to say, well, it's personal. Well, there are some people who don't personally like him, and there are some people who just don't respect his method of, or the way he operates. The cryptic messages, the disrespect of the older generations that came before him, that actually paved the way for you to get these $100 and $200 million contracts. Because before Mike, that thing wasn't happening. The ones who took the NBA and put it on higher and higher levels until it got to where it is today, like the constant disrespect, and then to follow that up, the disrespect of your fans. So it's not just that he says that's why people feel the type of way. It's because it's the totality of everything you look at, including the social media, social engineering, including you approaching the media to make them paint the narrative that you're just jovial. I can't even get the word out. The word that, you know, what you're joking about, you're serious, because you're going to the media and you're trying to make them push this message for you. And you can't squint your eyes as if this isn't happening, because before him and Kendrick Perkins made up, Kendrick Perkins on national television, along with Stephen A. Smith, let the cat out the bag. LeBron was definitely sending clutch sport agents to them to get them to change their narrative. It was live on TV.
Okay, so what you're saying is, I can't say that people don't like LeBron James based on their own personal views, their own personal social issues, or personal specific prowess. But I don't judge based off of that. That's not for me to judge. I judge this man based off of what I think and see on a basketball court.
It's not the question, though, Coach Scott. It's not what we asked.
But what you're asking me is, do his peers respect him? From what I've seen, his peers have the peers that I would call peers, the Carmelos, the Chris Bosh, the Allen Iversons, the individuals that actually make commentary on a consistent basis, the Grant Hills, the high IQ basketball individuals, they have nothing but rave reviews about LeBron James, whether it be personally or professionally, the way he approaches the game. I've heard nothing but stellar things as it pertains to that. But as it pertains to how he approaches, hey, what do you have your son call you? Is it going to be dad? Nah, he can call me 2-3. He can call me a bunch of different things. He can call me the GOAT. I'm very sure he's playing with the audience that he has at his disposal. The same way Michael Jordan would have it. The same way Prime would have it. Don't call me this. Call me Coach Prime. Everybody else call me Coach Prime. Sir Ernest. Call me Sir Ernest.
Okay,
call me
I got a question. Because and this is kind of sidetracking. Those players he named were high IQ players, right? Mm-hmm. Are they still high IQ? Because most of them he named was like George to go. Are they still high IQ when they say that, or are they not high IQ anymore?
Yes, because for me, my point of view has never changed. I've been consistent from show first to show now. Mike is go A1. LeBron is go A1B.
I don't know about, I don't know. You have been, I will say this, you have been consistent on that, but we're running over on time. I'm going to get Coach J.O. a word to get in here before we get out of here. You have been consistent. I will give that to you, and that's fair. I'll be fair. You have. Coach J.O., your thoughts before we close out.
Again, I'm just of the mindset that LeBron James, like I say, the Kobe's of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, the Larry Birds of the world, the Hakeem Olajuwons of the world, they just do not view him as the adult in the room. They don't view him that way. And I'm not saying this with any disrespect, all right? I would not disrespect any grown man and say he's a child or anything of the sort. But they don't view him as the adult in the room. Again, back when at the top 75 ceremony, there were guys there that are way older than Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan was viewed as the adult in the room, regardless of who was in there, regardless of age. He was viewed as the adult in the room. They don't view LeBron that way. Even when it comes to the Dwayne Wades or the Carmelos or the Chris Pauls, who are closer to LeBron in his age, I don't think they view LeBron as a friend. But when it comes to the NBA world, they do. I don't believe they reverence LeBron like that. They don't reverence him. And all of the guys today, even the stars, they're a lot younger than LeBron. Kevin Durant's a lot younger than LeBron, at least 3-4 years, 5 years younger than LeBron. So it's kind of like they're not even really peers. LeBron James is so much older than them, to his credit as well, to be able to have this longevity and be able to still play, to his credit. I'm just saying, he really don't have any peers right now. So everybody just look at LeBron as the old man per se, not the grown-up adult that's ruling the room.
And that's, I would say, and we'll close out with this, I would say that's something that Jordan and Kobe had. Because even in that interview that we covered yesterday, Iverson was talking about how they were up in the box upstairs watching the game, and Jordan had invited him up and everything, and he was just telling Jordan, how much he respects and loves him. And one of his homeboys, hey man, stop, man, you're a superstar too. But he gets into that mode where, like, this is the man, though. And when you hear people talk about Kobe, there's a certain level of reverence they have for a Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan that you don't always hear. You hear the respect factor, like, yeah, LeBron, he's doing this thing, but it's not the same thing. And this is why it's a problem, because it's like, since it's not the same thing, they're trying to create it. And I think they're doing a bad job. But with that being said, we are out of time. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe button. Follow us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, where's we on? YouTube, Shorts, everything. Follow us, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get this to 10,000 likes. Make sure you follow us. We will catch you next time.
Let's go. Even though I killed the ghost, there's still room to debate. And every sport is on the clock, who being late with the grade. If you hungry for the smoke, then come and get you a plate. We just evaluate the game and we don't deal with the hate. Come tune into the show, cause we about to get into it. Every sport has a goal, but now it's time to prove it. Barbershop vibe saying what other shows couldn't. With a buyer Coach Scott, yeah, it's gonna be a good one. This ain't for the faint of heart. Tiger, Jordan, Messi or Babe Ruth, Brady, Serena and Ali catch phase 2. Get your facts ready and no Wikipedia, cause ain't no off season, he don't go debate media.